wastage of potable liquor, which is for human consumption, madam.
We can detect that.
It can be.
I'm deeply obliged.
Just give this.
But before I begin, Lord, I must submit an apology, Lord, because of my colorful gray hair, Lord, because of the holy part. That's the disadvantage of having too many children and grandchildren. Lord. You can't save yourself.
It has nothing to do with the alcohol.
It does not. Holy means not partly alcohol, Lord. And I must confess, Lord, I am fond of at least whiskey part. So. Now, Lord, to begin with this daunting task, Your Lordship, may permit me, Lord, to place 1 or 2 pages of my written submission initially, because that will highlight the question involved and what has to be considered and answered by Your Lordships. This is PDF page. Volume 1A, Lord. Volume 1A.
Volume 1A.
Lord, it is a daunting task to appear before Lord, the 9 judges of this court, Lord. But then it is made more daunting by Your Lordship's insistence on the paperless proceedings. Lord.
You realize how simple it is. It cuts down on time, and it's so it's so streamlined for all of you, because you can switch from
I don't know,
file to file.
Maybe not at your Lordship's age, perhaps, and not it's easier. But a person of my age, Lord, it becomes a little more difficult.
What are you saying, David?
Have Lordship have my written submissions, Lord?
Yes.
Volume 1A. But the issue involved in this case is primarily concerning state's jurisdiction over industrial alcohol or rectified spirit, or short, IA, industrial alcohol. And this rectified spirit is also called ethyl alcohol, Lord, as an alternative. In synthetic second case, it was, that is 1990 Supreme Court, it was categorically held that rectified the denatured spirit is industrial alcohol and is outside state's jurisdiction under Entry 8, List 2 of the 7th Schedule to the Constitution. Entry 8, List 2, when it refers to intoxicating liquor, deals only with potable alcohol when it is had as it is. Synthetic 2 further went to the extent of denying jurisdiction to states in relation to industrial alcohol, even under Entry 33, List 3, as product of a notified / scheduled industry under the Industrial Development Regulation Act, hereinafter referred to as IDR, namely declaration by Parliament under Section 2 of the IDR Act, read with Section 18 of the IDR Act, covers the entire field, ousting states' jurisdiction. The sole issue broadly is whether states have legislative jurisdiction to deal with and regulate industrial alcohol, as well as the expanse of it, whether the jurisdiction is exclusive or concurrent. Synthetics 2 is erroneous on both the counts. It is for this reason that the reference order of the Constitution Bench dated 8/12/2010 doubts the correctness of it after meticulously examining the judgment. The state's jurisdiction over industrial alcohol can be exercised in 2 ways. A, state has jurisdiction and control over industrial alcohol under Entry 8, List 2, or states have jurisdiction in respect of industrial alcohol under Entry 33, List 3 as product of notified scheduled industry under IDR Act, and the field is unoccupied. This is a statement which Lord says, mark, not that the field is unoccupied. Because Entry 33, List 3, blood question of occupied field will arise. Intoxicating liquor, Lord, I'll come to this, then kindly have questions. I have framed for Your Lordship's convenience the questions. Page 29, Lordship, I have framed. Within. License to. Huh. But I've got, got down to.
Question.
I have. Page 29 of the volume 1. Page 29, Lord, of volume 1 itself. Lord,
So
Lord, you could have the question. Alcohol Page 29.
Page 29 of volume 1.
It's page 29 of volume 1A, same volume. Questions for consideration. Whether state can regulate and control industrial alcohol, commonly called rectified spirit, of more than 95% V by V, including denatured spirit. This has two aspects. A, one, whether industrial alcohol is included in entry 8 list 2 and is therefore within its exclusive jurisdiction and control. Or two, whether it falls on specification of fermentation industry as a notified industry under Industrial Dispute Development and Regulation Act. Not this question, if I may not pause for a moment and elaborate a little more. Entry 52 list 1 is the entry under which IDR Act was issued in the year 1951, enabling the center or the union to specify which of the industries it wants to take over. Now, entry 52 is intricately linked with entry 24 list 2. Lordship would have not entry 24.
We'd like to just sort of show us the entries so that we can look
I'll
at
come
the
to
outset.
that. I'll come to just
Let's
for
look at the entries first so that the whole thing turns in on the construction of the entries in this case.
Quite right.
So let's look at the different entries which are involved. That's the best way to go about it. Then we'll of course read your questions.
The first entry to be taken into consideration is entry 52 list 1. This is where the synthetics 2 had placed industrial alcohol. Because IDR Act comes in and fermentation industry was notified in the year 1956 under the schedule to the IDR Act, implying thereby that the declaration under IDR Act would apply and this industry is abstracted from entry 24 list 2 and goes on to entry 52 list 1. So once a declaration is made, entry 52 comes in operation. Otherwise, entry 52 list 1 has no, it's a shell. It is inoperative unless there is a declaration. See, if I may place entry 52.
Yes.
Industries, the control of which by the union is declared by Parliament by law to be expedient in the public interest. So what it implies is not those industries where the union feels that the control should come to the union and the Parliament has to declare it by law. That law will indicate the extent of control it wants to take over also. And that industry to that extent comes over to. But importantly, along with 52, Lord, if I may juxtapose entry 24 list 2. Because we can't understand entry 52 list 1 without looking into entry 52, entry 24, list 2. 24 is industries subject to the provision of entries 7 and 52 of list 1. So there is an inherent link between entry 52 list 1 and entry 24 list 2. Industry as a subject originally belongs to the state jurisdiction. Just for a moment, keep out the IDR Act or the
But
declaration.
Entry 24 is subordinate to entry 52 of list 1.
No difficulty. It is. There's no doubt about it. It's subject to. But what I'm saying is let us for a moment, for the purposes of analysis, take out the IDR Act or the declaration. Then what conclusion that comes to the fore is that entry 24 is the basic entry where state has jurisdiction over industry. Now that word industry transports to or gets transported to entry 52 on a declaration by Parliament.
No,
If
it's not like
Parliament
that.
makes a declaration.
No, that actually entry 52, entry 24 of list 1 of list 2 is made subject to entry 52 of list 1. Entry 52 of list 1, which gives the dominance to a parliamentary law, is provided Parliament has made a declaration in a law.
Provided. That's what I'm saying. Not unless there is a declaration, the jurisdiction rests in the state.
Obviously, if
That's the point.
but right, but once the declaration is made under entry 52,
Then that part
law,
which is taken over goes to the union.
one further very interesting thing is look at entry 54 in contrast to 52. I mean, we were dealing with entry 54 just 2 weeks ago.
Yes, yes. My
Regulation of mines and mineral development. To the extent to which regulation and development under the control of the union is declared by Parliament by law to be expedient in the public interest. Now, the words to the extent to which are interestingly absent in entry 52.
There is a reason.
So, once Parliament makes a declaration, as in this case under section 2, the entirety of that field of that industry is within the control. It's not to the
Has very frequently arisen and lots of have answered it in a number of occasions. But the word 54 here, if you Lordship would once again have a look at 54, there's a difference in the two entries. Regulation of mines and mineral development to the extent to which such regulation and development under the control of the union is declared by Parliament by law to be expedient in public interest. Now the word to the extent to which has been used for an obvious reason. Word not here, the entry 54 includes both the manufactory, that is mines. That's the factory part, the manufacturing part, and includes mineral. So there's nothing else there left. So both the things come over here on a declaration. Unlike industries, when a declaration is made, the product of the industry doesn't go there. Here, the product of the industry is taken over under entry 24. But in case of industry, entry 52, Your Lordship may have entry 33 list 3.
Takes complete control.
So it's not that the whole industry goes over or everything goes relating to that industry goes over. Kindly have entry 33 list 3. So we'll have to consider what is the ambit of the word industry. And that will have to be assessed first and foremost in the context of the state entries. The reason being, Lord, entry 24 is intricately linked with entry 52 because whatever can be drawn under entry 52 is from entry 24 and no other entry. Then kindly have 26 and 27. Entry 26 and 27 of list 2.
Actually, just dwell on entry 33. You can read entry 33. That might help you.
Very well. Trade and commerce in and the production, supply and distribution of the products of any industry where the control of such industry by the union is declared by Parliament by law to be expedient in public interest and imported goods of the same kind as such product. So therefore, trade and commerce to entry 50.
So it's very interesting because once a declaration is made by law of parliament under entry 52, the trade and commerce is taken out of the field of entry 52 and immediately goes into entry 33 of list 3.
As product of the notified industry.
Right. So to the extent, therefore, regulation of trade and commerce, production, supply and distribution, there's goes into the concurrent list.
Concurrent list.
The law made then by the state legislature can be overridden by a law which is made by
It has to
that's
be
Article 254. In the
There's no difficulty. And I'll say, as I said,
But
please
entry
mark this.
33 is an indication that notwithstanding a declaration which is made under entry 52, a law made by parliament under entry 52 of list 1, subjects still lie in the province of the states, albeit under the concurrent list,
Yes.
namely trade, commerce and
Now, Lord,
production, supply and distribution.
Now, importantly, since Lordships have noticed this, kindly come to the state list again.
So in other words, the domain of entry 52 will be everything pertaining to that industry minus NT 33.
Yes.
Understand. And it will be more apparent if your Lordship.
Carving out an exception.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Lords,
Entry 33, list 3,
Fine.
it carves out an exception within the domain of entry 52, list 1.
yes, Lordship is right, Lord, because then now trade and commerce, supply and distribution would not come under entry 52, list 1, even if it is a notified industry. Now, but before I proceed further, kindly have Lord once again come to the state list. List 2, entry 24. And if your Lordship would permit me to elaborate on this, Lord, that I think would become clearer.
Which entry?
24. Once again, Lord. Industries subject to the provisions of entry 7 and 52. Now, we are not concerned with 7, Lord, we are concerned with 52 of list 1. So, in other words, Lordships are right when Lordship said, Lord, that it is subject to, therefore subordinated. Now, Lord, important part is kindly see entry 26. State list.
Entry
26.
26.
Trade and commerce within the state, subject to the provisions of entry 33 of list 3. So the trade and commerce in the product of the industry is still in the state list. I'm saying for a moment, imagine that there's no IDR or entry 52. Then what is the position? The industry.
Then entry 26, list 2 would be subordinate to entry 33, list 3.
That's accepted, no? I would accept that. There's no doubt about it. Then 27 again, entry 27. Entry 33 is the combination of these two entries, 26 and 27. Entries दिखा रहा है.